Welcome to day 2 of IMS 2014. We're here at our new home of the Hard Rock Hotel on Playa d'Embossa, discussing the most important issues across electronic music. We had another packed schedule with some leading industry names.
Paul McGuiness talked about his career as manager of one of the biggest bands on the planet, U2.
It took us 2 years to get a record deal, which was surprisingly hard. One of the reasons we weren't getting signed was that they couldn't really play.
And there were keynote interviews with Annie Mac.
The kids that have grown up with EDM over the last kind of 5 to 7 years are now looking for more, and they're looking to be a little bit more refined in their taste.
And I sat down with the one and only Seth Troxler.
And I think the character of a lot of the EDM people coming up is very, very low in respect and honesty.
We debated the state of independent labels, featuring representatives from Spinning, MTA, CR2, and Juna Beats, and Milk and Sugar.
What's happening now is the cycle. We put stuff up on SoundCloud first, which isn't monetized, so we make nothing from that. Then we put it on YouTube next, which is slightly monetized, but not particularly well. And then around release date, we put it on the best monetized platforms of Spotify and iTunes. So we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot with the way we currently do things.
I think there's always space for independent labels to coexist comfortably, and it pushes up standards, it pushes up creativity. I just think it's important from a label perspective to ensure you find a way to stand out, but just have a way to kind of just identify yourself differently.
And I spoke to Warner Brothers and Sire Records legend Seymour Stein.
You never know where your music is coming from, and the last place you should look is where everyone else is looking. There's no such thing as a trend. Once there's a trend, forget about it, it's over.
Pretty Lights created this year's IMS Anthem in front of the delegates.
This is just a quick arrangement I worked up this morning. My production style is just all over the place. I mean, you can see this is 56 tracks at this point, and then all 300 bars or something, and then at the end, I start approaching arrangements.
Also on day 2, we talked through the natural selection of Ibiza nightlife and heard how the White Isle is correcting itself after last year's saturation.
Really what we're looking at right now on the island is an oversaturation in kind of one genre of music. Just flat out, there's too many parties to really sustain the amount of people coming to the island.
I thought Seth was going to turn up naked or something, so I just wanted to outdo him, you know.
What's going to be happening on Wednesdays in Pasha instead of Guy's residence?
We have Seth's favourite artist, Steve Aoki.
My feeling is just anyone who throws cakes in someone's face and calls it music just doesn't really have a page in my book. At the end of the day, I mean, it's not our culture at all. And I'm really offended by it. I'll be damned to support it.
And I asked Seth Troxler about his recent public criticism of the EDM world.
Musically, it's not that I'm so musically against a lot of this EDM stuff. You know, I think people like Skrillex or David Guetta, I really respect because they're actually really good guys and they're invested in this because they love it and they're doing what they do. You know, everyone's doing what they do for their own reasons.
Hold on a minute. You did say, let's face it, EDM DJs are the worst ever.
Yeah, some.
Back to legendary manager Paul McGuiness.
I had managed one other band, and they were my age, so they were 25. The next band I managed was U2, and they were 17. People have to get paid, otherwise there isn't going to be any music. It can't become a sort of an amateur sport. I think there are some vested interests who could help a lot more than they are doing. Clearly, Google is the greatest theft enabler on the internet.
And I sat down with my BBC Radio 1 colleague, Annie Mac, to talk through her life in music.
In Belfast, I started working in this nightclub called Shine, which is still one of the major clubs in Northern Ireland, just stamping people in on the door. So I was lucky enough to be able to sit on a stool right underneath the DJ booth and just watch.
Do you think that's still an issue today? That there aren't enough female DJs?
Yeah.
You get asked that question a lot?
Yeah, and I kind of, look forward to the day when I don't get asked that question, just because it would be nice for it to not be an issue anymore. But I understand that it really is. And even when you're driving around Ibiza today, like that big billboard for Ushuaia opening party is just 9 men, and it's quite powerful when you see it
Quite
like
sweaty.
that. Yeah, 9 men, lots of them with receding hair. It's just that billboard. I don't know. I think it's just a matter of more women doing it, you know, and having role models. And, you know, the reason why I wanted to get into radio, the reason why I thought that it was something that I could feasibly do is because I had a female role model, Marianne Hobbs. She's who I looked up to. She's who I wanted to emulate. She's who I thought was the coolest woman in the world.
And we dug deep into the amazing history of Ibiza's legend, Alfredo.
It's a difference between that times and now. It was very cosmopolitan. There were no English parties or French parties. And to make them dance, you have to tell them a story. The moment that English people was part of the dance floor, and was not majority, was the best part of Amnesia. In the times that English people became a majority, I had to change my music.
So another day debating issues and hearing from industry leaders and highlighting new initiatives draws to a close here at the IMS. Some really interesting points raised. It's clear to see that the industry is thriving. We'll be back tomorrow with highlights of day 3, including 20 years of Wall of Sound. See you then.